Okay, hi everyone. Tonight we're cooking. My sound's working fine? Yeah, that sounds okay? All right. So tonight we are making a beef massaman curry and a Thai green curry, a chicken curry. So it is really late afternoon because I'm getting ready for, I have Girl Guides on tonight, so I'm cooking a little bit earlier than I normally would, but it's still evening time, so I'm going to come home to this. This will be sitting here, go to Girl Guides, come home, and we'll eat about 8:15 tonight. It's quite a late night for us. But what we're doing is we've got some premium beef that you can see that there, really, really clear, and that is being browned. So that is browned off, sauteing in my Ninja. So I have a Ninja all-in-one cooker, a 15-in-1, and I'm browning my meat off. And I've got about 2.2 kilos of beef. And so that's cooking away in there. So while that's browning off, I'm going to be slicing up my chicken. So my chicken is from our local IGA, and the chicken is on the breadboard. It is a beautiful chicken breast. So on the breadboard here. Yeah. So this chicken breast is local. They're really, really well cared for. The chicken quality is amazing. So they still have their skins on, so it keeps a lot of flavour in of the chicken. So I'm just going to be slicing these up. And, sorry, Dylan? This is for the Thai green curry. So I'm doing the massaman and the green curry tonight together. Yeah. Is that okay? Yeah. So we're just working on titles, and Matt and I are just trying to work out which one's which. So I just got some of that skin off that chicken, and that, unfortunately, our beautiful Rottweiler had passed away a few months ago, so we no longer have her to feed that chicken skin to. She would have absolutely loved it. So in between that, I'm just stirring my beef, browning that while we're doing this. So multitasking as you do in the kitchen. All right, so with my breast, what I'm going to be doing is just thinly kind of stripping it. So it doesn't have to be perfect because this is going to go into the Thai green. But this is going to go into my pan over here because I'm going to flash cook this and then set it aside. So I'm just chucking it in the pan as I slice it, and I'll season this as I finish. So a Thai green curry is a beautiful mix of lemongrass, beautiful green chilies, shrimp paste, and some lime, and some beautiful flavours like some cardamom and some cumin and other beautiful rich flavours in there. So this is going to be a lovely meal to come home to. It's really fresh. The lime and the lemongrass give it a real freshness, a burst of like citrus. And the chicken allows it to be really kind of light compared to the heaviness of the massaman. So I like having these together as a combo. All right, so we're just nearly finished browning that lot. I've got one more lot of beef to go. But the quality of the chicken that we get here locally is second to none. At our local IGA, they have really good butchers there. And we found that out of everywhere we go, their produce is the absolute best. Locally grown produce, and it's great when you can support local farmers whenever you can. So the chicken, we're doing about 2 kilos of chicken. So I'm making a huge batch of Thai green, and I'm making a massive batch of massaman. Yeah, so each of these is about just on 1 kilo. This one's got no skin on it, that's fine. Sometimes they come with skin, sometimes without, if you're wanting to cook them as whole breast. And you can see how good the quality of that chicken is. Okay, so to do them both together, it's probably about 1 hour and 15 minutes all up. To do individually, I can get the massaman on the table within 40 minutes. and the green probably 20 minutes. So they don't take that long because I'm using pre-prepared curry paste as well. I use my ploy. I'm going to show you those. I do make my curry paste if I'm feeling really adventurous and I'm feeling like I want to go ahead and do that. But at the moment, I'm kind of just making it because I like the flavour of the my ploy. It's very traditional. It's very strong. If you like a less hot green curry, I would not recommend the my ploy because it's very, very fragrant with all the chilies. Okay, we're nearly there, slicing it up. And if you were cooking for less people, I will just say this, I'm cooking for probably 18 people. When you add it up, we'll have lunches and dinners out of this for our 6 for 2 to 3 days. But if you were cooking for like 4 people and you were just doing one batch, it would be even quicker. So you'd be able to get both meals done in an hour, I reckon. First few times that you cook something like this, it always takes a little bit. Okay. But the Massaman is a favourite in our household, and even my fussy children eat Massaman, so we're lucky to have that as an option. All right, so that chicken is cut up now. I'll chuck that over in my pan. And I'm just going to clean this up really quickly. Okay, and so what I'll do now is I'll coat my chicken in a bit of peanut oil so that it doesn't stick to my pan. And I'll season that, and that will then cook up. And we'll have pre-cooked chicken ready to go into our green sauce. Now we're nearly done with our beef here. So I've done a little bit of prep work. I've crushed some garlic and ginger. I've diced up some potato. I do 3 large potatoes and 2 large brown onions to go into my dish. So I've chopped up my garlic. You can see that there. All right. So now I'm just going to coat my chicken, the stove top, in some oil. The stove top, some oil. Yep, and you can see that I've coated that in some peanut oil, and I'm just adding some salt to that. So I'm seasoning my chicken. So I've used about probably a teaspoon of ground salt for that whole 2 kilos. You don't need much, but it's enough to bring the flavour out of the chicken. Then turn that on, and we're going to just cook that chicken through, and that will give us a lot of flavour in our dish. Okay, so that is in a really large skillet. You can see that I've got my massive cast iron pan here. It's a Lodge pan, really, really good, seasoned really well, non-stick because it's seasoned. And so that's just going to cook that chicken down. And I'll do my veggies and stuff a little bit later. All right, so now we're nearly finished with our beef. So I'm just going to pop our beef out over here. And you'll see that I've coated the sides of the beef. It's all coloured now. It's got that beautiful texture to it. And we're going to get started on building our curry flavour for our Massaman there. But that beef has lovely brown colour on it. It's beautiful. All right, so to the bottom of that pan, I'm now going to add just a tiny bit more peanut oil. So I'm going to add probably about a tablespoon of peanut oil, and that's just going to help deglaze the pan. And I'm going to add some of my ploy curry paste. So you can see the one that I'm holding there, that's my ploy, and that's the Massaman curry paste. So this is our absolute favourite pre-blended curry paste. Just going to pull the range hood out, it's a bit smoky. And then I'm just going to pop out of that bag here, I'm going to pop probably 1/3 of that paste into the pan because we're making a huge batch. So if you were making enough for 4 people, you'd probably only need about 3/4 of a tablespoon because they're very, very strong. but I'm doing a whole lot more because I want that flavour coming through from my family's curry. All right, so that's going to cook off in the bottom of that and bring fragrance to the room, which is absolutely delicious. And I'm just going to move that around a little bit. And while that's cooking, I'll just check my chicken really quickly. You can smell that flavour coming through the top of that curry paste. It's really, really fragrant. Chicken's cooking beautifully. And I've got that on high. I want that to really just cook through those pieces, and then we'll start building our curry with our chicken in our pot. All right, so to the bottom of that pan, now that we've added our curry paste, I'm going to be adding some ginger and garlic that's been crushed, and that's going to go into our pan. So you can see the ginger and garlic has been crushed together. So I used a whole knob of ginger and I used about 7 cloves of garlic, and I'm just putting half of that into the massaman. The rest will go into our green. So that is really fragrant in there. I'm going to be adding in 3 cinnamon sticks because it's a larger curry. Those little ones count as 1. And they're gonna heat up and bring some cinnamon fragrance to that. I'm gonna be adding in some kaffir lime leaves to the dish. I'm just gonna tear them up inside the massaman there. It's kind of like a Thai bay leaf, but it's got a real citrusy fragrance to it. You can crush them in with your garlic and ginger if you want to as well, but I kind of like the whole spice of them. Okay, they're just going to cook up until they get a little bit more fragrant in there. Okay, so as that's cooking, I'm going to add some fish sauce. So the fish sauce is to give it a little bit of that sourness. So I'm using about a teaspoon of fish sauce, and that's going to add a bit of that sourness to that curry. It's deglaze in the pan as well. And you can smell that sourness mixing with that lemongrass, absolutely beautiful. And then I'm going to add about 500 mils of liquid beef stock. And that's going to deglaze our pan and mix all of those spices in together. So we can see those colours coming up of that curry as the paste blends in. And it's got lots of fragrance to it. Okay, and now that that's cooking away, I'm going to slowly add in some peanut butter. That's one of my secrets with my massaman, is my peanut butter, because peanut butter gives it the real richness. We do add peanuts in at the end as well, but I just love adding in a dollop of peanut butter, chunky peanut butter, and I've probably got a really big heaped tablespoon in there, and that's just going to add to the nuttiness, the richness of the massaman. And I'm using just a natural peanut butter, so one that you can buy we get it from IGA, but it's beautiful. It's just lovely. It's got a little bit of peanuts in it, I think are the only ingredients, and some sea salt and natural oils of that peanut oil, which we are using as well as our base. So that's just going to heat through the curry sauce there, and we're going to see those flavours start to come together in that sauce with that ginger, garlic, kaffir lime leaf and that beautiful massaman paste. And now I'm just going to squeeze some lime into that. I'm squeezing half a lime, the juice of half a lime into that. They're very juicy limes. Again, that's going to add to the sourness of that sauce. Okay, and while that's cooking, I'm going to start to look at sweetening my dish a little bit because I don't want it to be too bitter. So I'm going to add some brown sugar to that mix. So brown sugar, you can use palm sugar or other sweeteners if you want to. The brown sugar gives it quite a lot of taste. So I've got about probably 2.5 tablespoons of brown sugar in there to taste. But I do want to give it that sour sweet kind of profile, and that's going to build the flavours of that curry. So they're just going to simmer for a little while. I'm going to come back to my chicken. And while my chicken's cooking, I've got all these beautiful white colour coming through my chicken. It's a lot of chicken to cook through, so it'll be here for a little while doing its thing. And that is okay. The green Thai chicken curry. So that's why I'm making these a little bit ahead of time, but they do heat up really well. And half of these will be put away in the fridge when they're done, because we'll be eating them tomorrow night for our dinner. So then I don't have to cook tomorrow, which is great. So on work nights, it's nice to come in to have dinner already cooked for us. Yeah. So I think most of these curries is not necessarily the difficulty of the recipe, it's more the time waiting for things to cook through. And that chicken, because it's a locally produced chicken and it's really fresh, it was bought this morning, it is so lovely. It doesn't go dry when you cook it in its own juices. Oh yeah, you like my pants? Thank you. I love my pants too. Yeah, I love wearing colour because it brings a lot of joy to my day. So if you have ever gone to shop at Exotica Athletica, that's where I get my pants from. And they're really, really size inclusive and they're really comfortable as well. They were on sale. Yeah, I know what you're doing. You're trying to bait me. They were on sale. They had an outlet store and they were $10. Unbelievable. They're normally $84. So I love my pants. They're a lot of fun. Thank you. Okay, so the colour of the chicken is changing now. We're nearly cooked through. We really want to make sure that it's cooked through beautifully. But we can start building our flavours while it's cooking because it will continue to cook. So to that massaman, I'm going to turn my beef back in. So I'm adding in all of my beef to that sauce. And that sauce of that beef is really, really, really fragrant, and that's coating the beef beautifully. You can see those chunky peanuts coming through. And I am just going to do a little taste test because I want to make sure that our flavours are right in our beef. That is really spot on. And when I add that coconut milk, it's going to be perfect. Really, really fragrant, delicious. Okay. So now I'm going to let that meat just sit in that massaman for a little while. But now I'm just going to start building some of my flavours for my Thai green curry. So what I'm going to be doing is adding in some of my ginger and garlic to the chicken. And then what that will do is that will infuse the flavours through the chicken. And we're using the juice of the chicken as a base. Okay. And then I'm going to add some lemongrass. Sorry, I know I'm standing in front as I grab ingredients. I'm going to add some lemongrass paste. So I've just got a teaspoon of that in all that chicken. It's very, very, very flavourful. And the lemongrass paste you can buy from most supermarkets in the Asian section or Asian grocers. Yeah, it's out of season definitely, especially down here. I don't know, because we import it in Australia obviously in the summer months. So that's the beautiful flavour going through that chicken. Alright, so now I'm going to add our Thai green paste. So the green curry paste again is the My Ploy curry paste. This one packs a punch, but we like a punch. So I'm going to be using about a tablespoon, which is a lot for this kind of curry. It is a very fragrant, rich curry. So you don't need to use that much if you are sensitive to spice, but I would recommend testing out a little bit for yourself and going lighter than going stronger, because it definitely packs a punch. Excuse me. Hey? I'm drinking water because it's hit me, but that's how strong it is, guys. I'm standing right over it, and that packs a punch, but it's beautiful, and it will cook down. All right. Excuse me. Okay. So you can see the colours and the oils starting to come through with that paste. Really, really vibrant. I'm going to turn the heat down as well now that we've got it to that point. All right, that lovely separation starting to happen with the curry and the flavours. All right, so now you can smell that. That smells beautiful. I'm going to add, again, some fish sauce. Just 3/4 of a cupful to that chicken. And squeeze that through. Beautiful colours coming through. And to add some vibrancy to my dish, I'm going to pop in some frozen spinach. So I've got about 250 grams. It's quite a lot, but that's going to make my sauce nice and green. So you can use fresh spinach if you like. The frozen stuff just is easier. It's already chopped, and it's like 90 cents a bag, and it is just green spinach, nothing else added to that. So that's just going to cook in and defrost as it cooks and leave those lovely green flakes through my chicken. And then I'm going to add some lime, some fresh limes to this. So I'm squeezing half a lime around that. And I'll be adding some of the kaffir lime leaves as well. All right. So kaffir lime in green curry, absolutely essential, beautiful part of it. If you can't get kaffir lime leaves, you can use leaves of the lemon tree if you want to, but citrus leaves absolutely give it that beautiful, fresh flavour that we look for in a green curry. Ripping it up. And they will cook down into the sauce and leave that vibrancy. Okay, so we're just going to let that kind of simmer down, and then I'll be adding in my other ingredients, my other veggies and stuff in a little while. Yum. Okay. Oh, it was hot. Over to the beef, I'm going to be adding some coconut milk that I've made. So I've made this coconut milk using coconut butter. So I get coconut butter from Honest to Goodness, and this is organic, pure creamed coconut. There is nothing else in it. 100%, no nasties. That's it, organic coconut. So what I did was I used, so your ratios will depend on how thick you want your coconut cream or your coconut milk. I used a probably about 100 grams to 250 mils. So I make it quite thick, and then I water it down with another 250 mils. So 100 grams to 500 mils all up, and you get a beautiful creamy coconut milk. I've got about 1.8 litres here because I'm making 2 curries. And I pour water and this together, blend it up, as at the ratio that you desire. But I do like 1 to 4. So 1 part's coconut butter or coconut, this creamed coconut, to 4 parts water to get a really rich consistency. And so on top of my curry, I am going to tilt it. Okay, You can see how rich that sauce looks now. That is spectacular. And now I'm going to add my onion and my potato to that dish as well. So that is our massaman pretty much done. It's just going to simmer for the rest of the time until I get back. But this can be pressure cooked as well if you want it to be really, really tender. Pressure cook it on high for about 30 to 40 minutes, and that will really bring all the colours out. If you've got time to slow cook it all day, recommend that as well. But either way, you're going to be left with a beautiful flavour. So I'm going to let that cook down a bit, and then I'm going to add some peanuts to that. So that's it done, pretty much. It just needs time to cook. All right, so now we're back to our green curry. We got our curry paste sifted through our chicken, and our spinach is cooking down. And now that we've got all that citrusy flavour through there, we're going to add some of our sugar. So just like you would with the massaman like we did before, the sugar's going to sweeten it up a bit. It's going to give it a bit of flavour. So I've got about 2 tablespoons of that going in to that dish. Level tablespoons. So it's probably about 1.5 actually. I don't like it overly sweet, but you don't want it to be so bitter from the citrus and the curry that you can't eat it. So you do need that caramelisation and that sweetness in there. And it brings out, the brown sugar gives it that caramelised type, closest thing to palm sugar type flavour, but it's more sustainable and yeah, easier to produce, and no harming of wildlife or anything like that. Okay, so our spinach is making it look very vibrant and green, which is what we're going for. And so now that that's mixed through, I'm going to add a bit of chicken stock. So for my chicken stock, if I don't have anything fresh, I literally just make it up. I did pull it out before. I did pull my, see, this is what happens. I lose my stuff. I thought I pulled out chicken stock powder, but I obviously didn't. So I've got some chicken stock powder, and I'm going to mix that up in some water. And I'm just going to do 2 big heaped teaspoons in about 500 mils of water. Mix it up together, and then I've got a nice chicken stock flavour. I'm just using the Aldi one. There's no added MSG or preservatives in that one, and it's fine. Mix that in, and that's going to give it that real umami type flavour through the curry, and it's also just giving it, releasing those flavours of that chicken too. All right. And now that we've done that, we're just going to tip our veggies in to let them cook down. So the veggies looks like a lot on top of this pan, but they will simmer down. They will simmer down. We've overladen that pan, and that's a big pan. So this will cook down now, and then we'll pour our coconut cream on top, and that will just let simmer until the onions are translucent and the carrots soften. But we don't want them too soft because we will be reheating this up a bit later as well. So with green chicken curry, you can kind of put anything in it that's in season that kind of complements it. So I always like having a bit of brassica vegetables in there. Sorry, not brassica, like your cauliflower or your broccoli, because they add a bit of crunch and they add a bit of texture to the dish as well, and flavour. I also like to add in some greeny veggies like your celery. I've got zucchini in here. I'm using more wintry veggies because that's what's in season. But in summertime, eggplant, fantastic. Sometimes you can put green capsicum in if you want to, but you can add veggies in to your desire. It's one of those curries. Curries, I believe, are left to the imagination. As long as you're sticking to that flavour profile, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to turn the heat up a little to get those veggies simmering down a bit more and breaking up that onion. And so the veggies add flavour to the Thai green because it is a fresh curry. So we want that real veggie and chicken complementary flavour together. That tastes amazing. Sorry? About 18. 18 serves of Massaman and this together. So I have 6 in my family and I'm cooking for 2 nights plus probably a lunch as well. So 18 serves altogether. So that's why it's so big. If you were doing a normal small family dinner, you certainly wouldn't need to cook this much. But we like to bulk cook a little bit because it allows us to have meals all prepped for the next day. And curries always taste really good, heated up, reheated. But yeah, you could actually quarter this recipe and still have leftovers if you have a smaller family. Absolutely. All right. So that is simmering down beautifully. We've got some nice bubbles on our liquid, which is what we wanted. So it's going to help us to get that veggie softening happening. And then as soon as that gets to that point, probably about 5 minutes or so, I will add the coconut to that. All right, and that will just be so lovely over some jasmine rice. You can cook that with any of your favourite sides. You can do it with Thai noodles if you want to. You do it with anything you like. Okay, I'm just going to turn my massaman down because it is simmering away now and it doesn't need to be on high anymore. So it's just reset to a lower temp. And I'm just going to try that one. Just make sure that that is correct. The flavours. Absolutely spot on. That is delicious. Alright. So in some cases you could actually, if you didn't want to have the spinach chunks in your green curry, you could actually blend it up if that's your preference. I like kind of having that. I like the spinach detail. I think it gives it a bit more complexity. And it wraps around the chicken pieces and gives it more flavour. But everybody's different in what their preferences are. If you want it to be really vibrant green, if I'm making a palak paneer or something like that, I would probably blend my spinach with my coconut cream. So just pushing my veggies into that sauce so that they actually sit and simmer properly. Because you don't want them to be rock hard, but you don't want them to be overcooked as well. It's not a stew we're making here. The massaman is more of a stew. This is more of a light kind of chicken curry to go with it. I like jasmine rice with it, but you can use any white rice really. If you really can't tolerate white rices, you could use a brown rice. That would be fine as well. Hi, sweetie. It's my youngest coming in. But I like a jasmine with Thai, but I don't know if we even have any jasmine here, so we'll probably be using a basmati, to be honest with you. I don't know if I've got jasmine here. Or just a long grain white would be fine as well. All right, so I'm going to pour in my coconut cream now that those onions have translucened. And we're just going to start pouring from the middle all the way around, and you'll see that colour coming together. So for this dish, I'm using about 400 mils of coconut. So a standard coconut cream tin, if you can't be bothered making it like this will be a tin of coconut milk. That's about the size of what I'm using. So that's enough with your chicken stock to get enough sauce in there. That is absolutely stunning. And you can see that the chicken is coated in a lot of those veggies and that curry paste there too. Right, how pretty does that look? Nice and green and vibrant. And that's what you want from a green curry, a nice, bright, vibrant colour. And it's actually started to dye my cauliflower, which is good. So that it looks like light coloured broccoli, even though it's cauliflower. Okay. So that will just simmer. And that would take, I'll let that simmer for probably another 10 to 15 minutes before I turn it off and put it in the fridge for tomorrow, half of it. And the rest will be reheated tonight as well to go over our rice. So, and we'll use probably, there'll be like 1.5 serves because tonight we'll have half, like probably not even half, about that much with our Massaman, and then we'll have lunch and dinner tomorrow or the next day if we don't feel like it tomorrow. Curries just keep giving. They're the gift that keeps giving. So what we're looking for with our cooking is the oils of the curry to come to the surface. So when we see that separation occurring, that's when we know we've got our flavour profile sorted. Let's clean that spoon. And we're going to have a taste of that sauce. Oh, lovely. It's got that lovely heat to it without being too spicy. But my kids can actually eat it. All right, so Massaman simmering, green curry simmering. They've got a little bit of time to go. I need to just, the last thing I need to do is probably about 20 minutes before serving our Massaman, I will add about a cup, 250 mils or 250 grams of peanuts into this, just roasted peanuts. And that will give it some crunch and some texture. But you can see that that meat is softening now. And those oils are starting to appear on the top of our Massaman. So it's been great to be able to do this live. Thanks for joining. And if I've missed anyone's questions, I'm sorry. I kind of can't see the screen as much. But I'll try and get back to you later in the comments. Thanks for watching. That's a wrap. That was pretty good.